Hi, thanks for joining me today. This practice is going to focus on cultivating a little bit of balance and also working a little bit with hip mobility and stability. All of those things are very important when we are in the saddle, or even if you are just going about your daily life. All of those things are very important. So we're just going to start in a seated position. If you have something to sit up on, you can sit up on something or even sit in a chair if you would like. But just for a moment, if you come to a cross-legged seated position, just let your eyes gently close. You can bring one hand to the heart, the other hand to the lower belly if you'd like. And again, either the eyes closed or just a soft gaze with the eyes gently down. And just take a few moments to let yourself slow down, settle into your body, and focus on your breath. Just breathing gently in and out of the nose. And then as you begin to deepen the breath, as you inhale in through the nose, let the breath drop all the way down into the bottom of the lungs. Exhaling, drawing the belly towards the spine to help the breath release. And throughout our practice today, keeping that steady flow of your breath, especially when we challenge ourselves a little bit in with our balance, make sure you're breathing. Another deep inhale and exhale here. And then gently let the eyes open. So we're going to do a little warm up. So let's come to all fours. Come to table pose. Wrist underneath the shoulders, spreading the fingers wide, knees underneath the hips. The gaze down towards the mat, but the crown of the head extending forward. So don't let the head drop down. And then as you inhale, begin to send the sit bones back, lengthen the front of the body, take the gaze gently up, coming into a cow pose. And then as you exhale, draw the belly in, think of pressing the mat away, rounding the back up towards the ceiling. So keep that going with the breath, inhaling. And exhale, good warm up for the spine here. Feeling that nice stretch from the lower belly to the chin as you inhale and look up, and then feeling that stretch from the tip of the tailbone to the base of the skull as you exhale and round down. So keep that going a few more times, connecting with your breath. And then after this exhale, come back to neutral, back to your table pose, and then bring one hand one hand print in front of where they were in your table pose. Really press into the base of the knuckles and the fingertips. Make sure your hands are at least shoulders distance apart. Curl the toes under, lift the knees a couple inches off the mat. Really draw that lower belly in and up. Find those core muscles and then begin to send your sit bones up and back, coming to a bent knee downward facing dog. So staying on the toes with the knees bent, find that nice length in your spine. Inhaling and exhaling. I'm joined by my downward facing dog right now. Inhale and exhale. If you like, you can pedal through the feet a little bit. Press down through one heel and then the opposite heel. Thank you, Coco, for the kisses. Oh, downward facing dog. What a girl. Good. Inhale and exhale. Good. And then come way up onto the toes, straighten both legs, press the chest towards the thighs, send your sit bones up as high as you can, and then release the knees down to the mat, and we'll come back to that table pose. Hi, yes, you're so helpful today. So wrist under shoulders, knees under hips. So trying your balance with a puppy is a good too. So extend the right leg back, toes to the floor, press through the heel. And then lift the right leg to hip height. Keep those toes pointing down, lengthen through the crown of the head. Find your breath. And then there's going to be several options here for this balancing sequence. So this is our first section. And then if you'd like, you can extend that left arm forward. So really make sure you're pressing into the top of that left foot, all four corners of that right hand. Inhale and exhale. So next variation, if you'd like, bend your right knee so your toes point up towards the ceiling. And then sweep your left hand around and bring it across the lower back. Inhale and exhale, second variation. And then if you'd like, third variation, see if you can find that right foot with the left hand and bring a little bit more, again, balance and a little stretch in the front of the left shoulder. Make sure you're breathing. Inhale and exhale. And then gently extend the right leg back and that left arm forward. And then bring the left hand back down, the right leg back down. Exhale, round the spine, fold back to child pose just for a breath, hips towards the heels, forehead towards the mat. And then inhale, press back up to your table pose. And we'll do that same thing second side. So setting again, make sure your wrists are under your shoulders, knees under hips. Now extend the left leg back. Press through the heel, press into the top of the right foot. Make sure you think of drawing those lowest ribs up towards the spine, so we're not letting the belly sag. Lifting that left leg hip height, keep the toes pointing down, pelvis level, and then extend the right arm forward. So any of these sequences, if you find you're not breathing, then come back to the one before. If you lift the arm and the breath stops, bring your hand back down. Inhale and exhale. And again, if you're doing well here, you can bend that left knee, point the toes up towards the ceiling. Pause there. Sweep the right arm around and rest it on the lower back, palm facing up. Draw that right shoulder back. Maybe stay here. Maybe see if you can find that left foot with the right hand, lifting the gaze up and out. Really feel that nice stretch in the shoulder. Inhale and exhale. And then once again, extending that left leg back, that right arm forward. Bring the right hand down and the left leg down. Once again, exhale, round back to child pose. One breath, exhale back, stretch the lower back. And then inhale up to your table pose. Hands in front, curl those toes under, lift the knees, draw that lower belly in and up, sit bones up and back, downward facing dog. Knees bent or pedal the feet or legs straight, your option. Take a breath. Inhale and exhale. Feel that nice length in the spine. Really engage those core muscles. Drawing lower belly in and up. And then making your way towards the top of your mat. Pedal the feet. Take tiny little steps. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Walk your hands or your feet up to your hands. Bend the knees. Take hold of opposite elbows. Just a little release here. Let the crown of the head dangle down. You can also rest your hands on your mat if you like, palms up, fingertips towards each other. Inhaling and exhaling. Now bring the hands to the hinge of the hip, press into the feet, lengthen through the crown of the head, come all the way up to standing. Once you come up to standing, coming to mountain pose. So feet hip distance apart. Think of grounding down through all four corners of the feet. Make sure you have tiny bit more weight in the heel than the ball of the foot. Make sure you're not leaning forward into the ball of the foot or leaning so far back into the heel that you don't have connection with the toes, the ball of the foot. Think of lifting all the toes, spread the toes down, lift the inner arch of the foot, lift the kneecaps, lift the sternum, energy through the crown of the head, let the hands rest down by your side. Take a breath. Inhaling and exhaling, and then inhale, float the arms up. Bring the palms together, exhale, bring the hands to the heart. So just a couple sun breaths here, just finding our connection with the feet to the earth. Inhale and exhale. Good, so this time, inhale, float the arms up and overhead. Bring the palms together, interlace the fingers. Notice which thumb is on top. Press up through the heels of the hands. And then find a focal point, something to gently gaze at, something that's not going to move. And then gently lift the heels up off the mat, balance on your toes. Make sure you're breathing. Inhaling and exhaling. Good, another breath here. Inhale and exhale. And then gently release the heels back down to the mat. Release the hands, bring the hands back down by your side. So if you're not at the end of your mat, come to the end. We're going to add a little flow here. So coming to your mountain pose, Inhaling and exhaling. Inhale, float the arms up. Bring the palms together. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart. And then once again, float the arms up and overhead. So bring the palms together. Interlace the fingers with the opposite thumb on top. Again, press up through the heels of the hands. Lift the heels up off the mat. Balance on your toes. Inhale and exhale. And then gently release the heels back down. Release the hands, extending, keeping the arms extended up. Send the knees out over the toes, sit bones behind you, come to a chair pose. So if it's not comfortable for your arms to be here, you can have them at shoulder height or even have them on the hips. A couple breaths here. As you settle into this chair pose, make sure you still feel that weight in your heels, but still weight in the toes too. So we don't want to tip forward into the toes, but we don't want to have so much weight in the heels that we lose that connection with the ball of the foot. Now bring your hands to your hips, lift your left heel, step your left leg back to a high lunge, press back through that left heel. So option here, make sure, this is not an option, make sure your right heel is underneath the knee, and then your back knee can be bent, or you can press back through that heel and straighten the leg, your option. Think of drawing the lowest ribs towards the hips, float the arms up and overhead. Find that focal point, so finding your balance. Inhale and exhale. Good, another breath, inhale and exhale. Now bring your hands to your hips. We're gonna step the left leg up beside the right, come back to that chair pose, float the arms again forward, your position. Inhale and exhale. Now press into the feet, inhale, come all the way up, and then lift the left heel once again. And this time we're gonna lift the knee up and bring the hands to interlace in front of the knee. You can also bring your hands behind your thigh. Inhale and exhale. And then we're going to transition here into a tree pose. So bring your hands to your hips, turn your knee to the side. So you can land your foot to the inner thigh or the inner calf or toes to the mat. I'll turn to face so you can see that. So you can land here or here or here, wherever you can keep your breath. Steady flow, hands to the heart. Inhale and exhale. Good, another breath. Hands can stay at the heart, or you can bring the arms overhead. Inhale and exhale. And then gently let the fingertips wiggle and just gently float the arms down like leaves falling from the trees, and bring the hands back to the heart. And then release that leg back. Find your mountain pose once again. Maybe close the eyes for a moment. Inhale and exhale. So we're going to do that same sequence, second side. So gently let the eyes open again back to the end of the mat if you are not there. And then inhale again, float the arms up. Palms together, exhale the hands to the heart. Inhale, float the arms up and overhead. So palms together, interlace the fingers. Opposite way you did last time. Press up through the palms. Inhale, lift up onto the toes, find your balance. Inhale and exhale. Another breath. And then release the heels down, release the clasp of the hands, arms extend up, palms facing each other. Chair pose, send the knees out over the toes, sit bones behind you. For those equestrians, it's kind of our jump position. Inhale and exhale. Now bring the hands to the hips. We're going to lift the right heel, step the right leg back to your high lunge. Again, take a moment to set your foundation. Make sure the left heel is under the knee. You're drawing the left hip crease back. You're either keeping that back knee bent or you're pressing through the heel, straighten the leg a little bit more. Lowest ribs drawing towards the hips. So we're finding that balance. Float the arms up and overhead, or you can keep the hands right at the hips. Inhale and exhale. Again, find your breath, find your balance. Inhaling and exhaling. And then gently bring the hands back to the hips. We're going to step the right leg up beside the left. Come back to that chair pose. Again, find your balance. Find your option for your chair pose for the arms. Inhale and exhale. And then press into the feet. We're going to inhale, come all the way up, extended mountain. And then lift the right heel once again. And then we're going to lift the right leg, and again, bring the hands either in front of the knee resting on the shin or behind the knee resting, supporting the thigh. Inhale and exhale. So again, finding that balance. Inhaling and exhaling. So hands to the hips. We're going to turn this knee to the side, land that foot wherever it feels good for you. Again, maybe it's the inner thigh or the inner calf. Maybe the toes come all the way back down to the mat. Hands to the heart. Or you can keep your hands at your hips. Inhale and exhale. Maybe the hands come overhead, arms come overhead. Inhale and exhale. And then gently bring the hands again. Let's wiggle the fingers like the leaves are falling from the trees. Let the arms gently float down. Bring the hands again back to the heart. And then release that lifted leg. Again, close the eyes for a moment. Inhale and exhale, just feeling your connection with the earth. And then gently let the eyes open. So one more little flow here to get down to the mat. So inhale, float the arms up. Palms together, exhale the hands to the heart. Bend the knees, fold all the way down. Come to that standing forward bend again. Pause here for a moment. Again, maybe take hold of opposite elbows if you'd like. Keep the knees bent as much as you need to get that nice stretch. Inhale and exhale. And then bring the hands to the fronts of the shins or the thighs. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen through the crown of the head. And then once again, exhale, bend both knees, bring the hands down to the mat. We're going to step back to a plank pose. Step the left leg and the right leg back. Make sure your wrists are under your shoulders. Press through the heels. Think of drawing that lower belly in and up. Find that core strength. Inhale and exhale, and then drawing lower belly in and up, sit bones up and back. Come to your downward facing dog. You can keep the knees bent or pedal the feet or legs straight. Find your breath. Inhaling and exhaling gently through the nose. And then as you're ready, release the knees down to the mat. Uncurl the toes and just fold back to a child pose, hips towards the heels, forehead to the mat. If your forehead doesn't come all the way down, you can stack, you can make fists with your hands and let your head rest on your hands. Or if you have some yoga blocks handy or a stack of books, you can use that to support the head. Just take a few breaths. And then as you're ready, gently slide the hands back towards you. Slowly roll yourself up, one vertebrae at a time, coming up to sit on your heels if that's comfortable. If not, just come to a comfortable seated position. Again, let the eyes remain closed just for a few moments. Let your hands rest on the thighs. Just connect with how your body feels. Connect with your breath. And then very gently let the eyes open. So thank you for joining me today. I hope that helps you. Anytime we can work on our balance when we are out of the saddle, it will help with our balance when we're in the saddle. And of course, just going through your daily life, our balance is so important. And a lot of that is affected by our hip mobility and stability. So it's added a little bit of that in there today too. So I hope you have a great day. Thanks again for joining me, and I hope to see you sometime soon in the saddle or on the mat. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks. Bye-bye.